The oldest and strongest human emotion is fear. And the oldest and strongest type of fear is trepidation of the unknown. When we were children, our parents told us that monsters didn't exist. But we were sure that something was lurking under the bed or in the closet. Fear sees, even if our eyes are closed. Welcome to the realm of the arcane. My name is Lon Strickler. Join me as I examine unexplained creatures, strange manifestations, and remarkable realities. Imagine this next hour as a voyage of discovery to strange lands, seeking not for new territory, but for new knowledge of the supernatural. Come on board as we begin this adventure together. Hey folks, good evening and welcome to another episode of Arcane Radio, where we explore the unexplained live on Beyond Explanation. I'm your host, Lon Strickler, coming to you with an Arcana shot of historic Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining us. So once again, I'm going to ask you to help support Arcane Radio and Beyond Explanation by subscribing, liking, sharing our programming. The super chat donations are essential for us to continue offering you our unique content, so your consideration is very much appreciated. So before I get going here, I posted something today. I got an email from Butch Witkowski from UFO Research Center, Pennsylvania. He's also a member of Pan's Monsters Fortune Research, concerning a YouTube video that was sent to him. And Bill's got some screenshots of this UFO. This happened in Wisconsin, and I forget the name of the town again. Montello, Wisconsin. And man, I'm telling you, this is pretty interesting. What I did find out from the witness was that this UFO, or whatever the hell it was, put out so much energy that it literally pushed all kinds of equipment and furniture that was on the patio all over the place. Now, I don't know if there's anything else that had happened during this time. I don't know if there was any type of encounter or anything like that, but the video is really good. Go to the website, go to Phantoms and Monsters. I've got the link to the video there, the YouTube video. And these screenshots came out pretty good, but that close up, I don't know what this thing has on top of it. You know, it kind of looks like almost like a catamaran in the sky with something on top, like a canopy or something. But as you can see on the original photo, it looks like there's a beam coming off of it as well. So it's very strange. So we're going to follow up on that, see what we can find out, and hopefully this gentleman will get a few answers from us. So tonight, I welcome the all-female paranormal research team of Paranormal Crossroads with Kitsie Duncan, J.K. McGlinn, and Tiffany Rice. Paranormal researcher and author Kitsie Duncan has taken her paranormal obsession is on a mission to make the paranormal investigative process more personal. Their show is called Paranormal Crossroad. This is not your average paranormal reality show. This is a team of fearless women who will bring light and positivity into the hearts of those who are fearful of the paranormal. The Paranormal Crossroad is going into the homes and workplaces of those living with questions, grief, and despair, and hoping to speak to the spirits who are with them. The website can be found at go-to.pxroad.com. So, ladies, thanks for joining me this evening.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yay!
Oh, Tiffy showed up. Hello, welcome.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh, we're doing good. And I hope you're doing well as well. Folks, what we're going to do, we've got a video, and we're going to go ahead and put it up and have you look at it before we start to talk to the team.
Hi, I'm Kitsie Duncan.
Hi, I'm KJ, and we are Paranormal Crossroad. We're taking a new approach, an empathetic, positive approach to paranormal TV.
And this is how my road led to our new show, Paranormal Crossroad. I grew up and spent most of my life terrified of the paranormal. And then I lost my dad. There were no goodbyes. It was sudden. And I needed to know he was okay. So I started to investigate the paranormal. And to this date, I've investigated some of the most notoriously haunted locations in the world. And what I learned is these spirits, they have stories to tell. And I want to be the one to help them tell it.
This is how my road led to Paranormal Crossroad. It started with a light. Yes, I saw the light. I am a media personality and have always been in touch with my spiritual side. So I got in touch with Kitsie and said, hey, do you want to come figure out who's turning my light on and off? I had a feeling it was my grandmother. But what I didn't know was that my grandmother was here turning on a light to light the way for me to this show. She actually had messages about how I needed to be on TV more. And at the time, I didn't realize that it meant Paranormal Crossroad. But as we continued on and Kitsie contacted me and said there were more people who needed more peace and that this was a show that she wanted to do, I knew that it was a show that I wanted to do as well.
I'm spirit medium Tiffany Rice. I'm proud to join KJ and Kitsie in bringing peace to people experiencing the paranormal.
And now we hope this road leads us to
Helping more people
bringing more peace.
and sharing our mission to bring positivity to the paranormal approach.
Support our road trip.
To network TV.
That's right. We could be on TV.
We could be on TV.
Right now, we are working to launch a full season of Paranormal Crossroad on network TV.
And from there, who knows where the road will take us?
Travel it with us.
We are Paranormal Crossroad.
We are Paranormal Crossroad.
We are Paranormal Crossroad.
We bring peace
To people experiencing the paranormal.
Well, I love you too.
Excellent. Well, I will comment. You ladies did achieve your fundraising goal just a few days ago.
We did. Blew our minds. We are so grateful. Oh,
Yeah, we were not prepared for stretch goal number 1, which is what we've launched now. We were thinking, if things are going well in week 3, maybe we think about a stretch goal. And then day 3, it was like, what just happened? So we appreciate all of the love and support that we've had to get this show out to more people.
Excellent. Well, yeah, Kitsie, as you know, I've been involved with clearings and remote viewing and as an intuitive for a long time now. So I'm glad that you're able to do this. I hope it's successful. And like I say, if you ever get in my area, look me up. I'm near Gettysburg, and you might find your way around here at one point.
I would love that. My paranormal investigative journey started in Gettysburg, so that kind of makes sense. I should get out there. The very first ghost tour I took was out there. Yeah, so this show is different than anything else out there, guys. It started out just me trying to do this by myself with cameras on shelves in people's living rooms and or guest rooms when I was at KJ's house. And Tiffany would come in remotely and fill in any blanks that the spirits weren't giving us answers to. And then KJ came along for the ride. She was the very first episode that went up was KJ's. We found out it was her dad that had unfinished business with her and just kind of wanted to say he was sorry and that he really loved her. So been a beautiful journey. Am I right, girls?
It has.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't expect when I called Kitsie, because I had a light going on and off, and I thought we're gonna have a funny little conversation. And Kitsie actually said it in the first episode when she said, I hear the name Phil," and I was like, "That's my dad." And she's like, "Plot twist." And so to be able to do this now on the show and go into homes and help other people receive the peace and the messages that Kitsie was able to bring to me is a real honor. I still can't believe that we're all together and doing this.
Oh yeah, and then we tried to get her mother to come through at the same time, but I think Mom was given, Dad his time to say he was sorry. And at one point on the odd box, Mom said she was waiting for the medium, which is Tiffany, and Tiffany nails it every time. Every time. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
So I'm a spirit medium. So what that means is I communicate with people that have passed loved ones, friends, family. Pets come through too. I have no control of who comes through for how long. So the great thing is when I'm doing a reading through Zoom, you guys got to remember energy is energy. So it doesn't matter what location you're at, your loved ones are going to come through regardless. So I love it when Kitsie and KJ talk to me and they say, "Hey, we're going to put you on a Zoom call Sunday at 7:00. And I'll say, "Okay, that's fine." And I go in blind and they're like, "All right, just let us know what you get." And so what I do is I'm able to piece together the puzzle pieces of the investigation that they're working on. So I can put together the emotional side to the factual side, which I find is pretty interesting in itself. So that's what I like to do with the girls. And I think that's an asset to what Paranormal Crossroad is all about.
Absolutely. And then this next month, there's Indie PopCon here in Indianapolis, and all three of us are going to be together for the very first time. And we're so excited about it. We're going to do live on stage, catch up with some of the people that we had investigated with, find out if we were able to bring them peace. And then Tiffany, is just going to, in rock star fashion, go up there and do her reading there live on stage in front of a studio audience. It's completely different than, I'm going to say this a million times, but completely different than what everybody else is doing out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. Well, let me ask each one of you a little bit of background. Tiffany, when did you realize that you could sense spirits, sense spirit energy? Do you channel as well?
Well, I always had a sense of knowing, and I can remember back in the day when I was a teenager going to a baseball game and thinking, "Oh my gosh, he's going to get a home run," and he would. I would have conversations with people, and as I'm having a conversation with them, I would start to see visions behind them. For instance, I remember seeing like a red truck or a man standing behind someone, and I thought it was just a bad case of ADD. And I realized that a little bit after the fact, I should say, I realized what was actually happening to me was I was communicating with spirit, and I just had no idea. So I ended up becoming a Reiki master teacher, which is Japanese. It means energy life force, to help me get more involved with being in touch with my energy. And I took a couple classes, and that's how I actually found out. So for a long time of my life, I thought it was just me struggling to focus, but it was actually spirit trying to communicate.
Man, I tell you, I can relate to that. I found out when I was like 8 years old. I knew something was going on, but it happened on the Gettysburg battlefield for me. Like everything opened up, and it just hit me all at one time. Yeah, that was weird. And ever since then, it's been me actually trying to figure out what is going on. But I have been able to use it to a degree, and I can totally relate, with what you're doing, and all of you, what you're doing, because it is so good. It's such a great feeling when you can help somebody realize what is going on in their life spiritual wise, what is around them, why things are happening the way they are. It is. It's people just don't understand, and I know you guys do, but people just don't understand the great feeling you get when you're able to do that.
Oh, exactly. And honestly, Tiff has been the one that's taught me how to understand my intuitiveness, that, I used to call my crazy, but I'm not allowed to anymore. But when she explained it as, when you get memories that aren't yours, I get goosebumps every time I think about her telling me that. I'm like, oh, so I'm not daydreaming. It's not an overactive imagination. This is real, and I'm not crazy. So, yeah. And then KJ's been in touch with her spiritual side forever. Her grandmother's house, where she spent a lot of her childhood, was haunted by a not mean, but just a not aggressive, but just maybe a grouchy ghost.
It was a little bit like get out of my house, but it in a way that I think, and Lon, I explained this to several of the people we've investigated for. I think sometimes we don't look at it from the perspective of the spirit, in that, we want them out of our house. Maybe they want us out of their house, and like we're yelling, like this yelling approach. And, that's just like, let's figure out what you're doing here, what I'm doing here, and how we can coexist. And that was really, because I grew up with it, that was just how it was. There were family members who were afraid of Frank, which is what I named him, and would yell at him, and he would slam a door. And me, I'm like, hey, if you're going to move my earrings, can you at least put them in a place where I can find them again? And so he never, he just never bothered me. But it was, I was able to see from a very young age that how I was interacting with him was a totally different experience from how others were interacting. And so to be in a place now where I grew up seeing this, and to be able to have a platform and be on a show where we can help more people understand that if we take a peaceful approach, if we're a little more positive and a little more understanding that they may be going through something they don't understand as well, we get some pretty amazing conclusions to these investigations. I think not only for the people that we're investigating for, but for the spirits who are living there as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been involved with spirit rescue for a long time.
And I love that term, spirit rescue.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's interesting. We let's say you go into a house. Now, a lot of what I've done has been remotely. I've done cases all over the world remotely, and I would usually work with either somebody that happened to be there, who was on the team, or whatever. But anyway, 9 times out of 10, it's a spirit energy from that just doesn't really know it's either dead or just trying to get somebody's attention. And, it's making noises, it's scaring people. And you got to try to tell, and this, you got to try to tell the client that, look, there's no reason to be afraid of it. It's not causing any problems. It's just trying to get your attention. This is one thing has really freaked me out from the very beginning, when all these paranormal shows were coming on TV, that these investigators would be yelling at them or causing a ruckus. Well, that doesn't accomplish anything. It hinders everything, actually. So you got to treat them like the living.
Exactly. And we, all three of us, feel that way. And we're actually finding, which I don't know if this is a thing for anybody else, but we're finding a lot of these are people's family members coming back and just trying to communicate with them and help guide them in their lives. There's not an episode we filmed where I haven't cried just a little bit.
No. And that the new episode that will hit YouTube 1 week from tonight. Oh my God, all of the feels. I mean, there was, I don't want to give anything away too much, but there was a family member that came through that was really clearly trying to be of support and have these important messages that this young man needed to hear so much. And even his cat came through and was like trying to point him in the right direction. I mean, it was just, it was a beautiful experience all around. And, for him to have us leave his house in a space where when that activity starts happening again, he knows what to do, and he knows that it's coming from a place of love, was a great gift for us to even be a part of a little bit of helping him on his journey.
You guys have the teaser for that. Can you play that real quick?
Yeah, let's see if Bill can bring it up.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, real quick. Is it the Oddity Files one or is it the other one?
It's the one named Static Man, I think.
Okay.
It's we start in the
I will run that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
With all the shows that are out there right now, this one is very different because there is not.
Evan took us aside at one of our live events.
Were you scared? I'm terrified telling you the story.
Okay, you seem a little wound up. So you turn the corner and you see
like
TV static,
like taller than the doorway, but it's in the shape of a person.
We just want to tell their story, and it says take time to breathe out. We were just talking about how nervous you are. You're an anxious gentleman from time to time. You need to breathe a little more.
Do you have any questions for Edie? She's here.
I'm about to cry.
I know. It's like super emotional when you realize they're really, really still here, right?
Just repeating I love you is safe. I'm here for you. The change you've made.
That's what I said about the change he's made.
We are Paranormal Crossroad.
Excellent. I mean, I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
Tiffany, tell us a bit about when you go into a case like you're going into, or what you've had in the past. What do you feel? Is there like a trigger that you experience when you do a case? For instance, I can sense spirit energy, but I see colors. It's the damnedest thing. I actually sense a pink and a foam green color in my mind's eye, and I know instinctively when I see that there's something around. Is there some type of trigger that happens to you, or how do you sense the spirits?
Well, I want to say I absolutely love that you picked out the green and the pink, because that's related to your heart chakra. So if you're seeing that could be related to someone like having some heart issues. Maybe it's love issues, relationship issues, trust issues, not even necessarily issues, because I feel like that sounds negative, and it doesn't have to be negative, but it just could be matters of the heart that you could be picking up on. As far as triggers for me, before I do any type of reading, I just set the tone, and I open myself up to receive messages that are guided and protected. I like to call on Archangel Michael a lot. My dad passed away, so I always like to say he's my spirit guide as well. And I like to bring in messages of white light and love. And so I am open to receive validations, messages, and any type of information that loved ones want to share. Or, like I said, if it is a location where there isn't a loved one and it could just be some sort of haunting, I always protect myself, so I am dealing with those that are in that higher vibrational field.
Wow, you and I could have a long conversation about angels, because I am one of those people that absolutely believes in guardian angels and angels, whatever they are. They're not. But people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize they are not winged beings that are coming down from wherever and doing whatever they need to do. It's different than that. And people who
exactly
do what you do, like spirit rescue, I kind of use the angels myself to move on these energies to another level.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know how everybody else does it, but that's what I do. But I absolutely believe in guardian angels.
Yeah, very similar. I think we're all kind of on the same page. I will call on the angels when we're setting up and getting ready for an investigation, and I definitely call on them, especially when we're talking about if there's any kind of health issues or our angels are so great at helping us with our pets, calling on them to help with any kind of pet issue, any kind of grief, any kind of transition. It's a really, really beautiful experience to bring the angels into your healing.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that they're reaching out to us on a constant basis. They are literally guiding us. And sometimes if they think their house is haunted, it's your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whatever it is you want to call them, look, pay attention to me. I'm sending you these signs. You need to open up a little bit more, and you need to be more present and listen to me a little more. So, and that's what we're trying to help these homeowners do as well, is open up their intuition, open up themselves to this communication that's trying to happen. And somebody in the chat room just asked, what's your methods of clearing negative energy? Open yourself up to your spirit guides, because they're trying to guide you and steer you away from the negativity.
Absolutely. Yes, that's true. This is something I tell some people or clients when I'm working with them. Your guardian angels are there. You may not be able to communicate with them directly or be able to sense them at this time. You may be able to do that in the future. But one thing that you need to do, they're there for you. And if you need something, tell them what you need. I mean, don't ask them, tell them what you need, because that's the only way you're going to get across what you want, what you feel, and to have them understand you yourself.
That's what they're there for.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. They're literally waiting for you to understand that they are here to help you. They just need to know what you need.
My wife used to really be into angels. I mean, she's kind of the one that got me connected with the angels, and it kind of just, I don't know, because I was working with before that, but I kind of realized then what the real thing was with these angels and these guardian angels, and even the archangels. I mean, we call upon the archangels, even though not in a religious sense, but we call upon these beings to come in and help us or help others. So I think that's an important part of what spirit rescue is.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Somebody also asked, I'm sorry, I'm keeping my eye on the chat room, is asking, I'm assuming they mean the homeowners, feel the energy change in a place or home after helping the homeowner understand the spirit. I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to pass it over to the girls, because this is my favorite part of doing this.
Yeah, I saw that question too, and it immediately took me to an investigation that we did not too long ago. That'll be an episode coming up. But we received a message probably about maybe 3 weeks after the investigation, and the woman said it was a very long message that was just beautiful. But the thing that stood out to me was she said, "We've lived in this house for a long time, but because of you ladies, it now feels like our home." And that's what we want. We don't want someone living in a situation where they feel like their house isn't safe, and the spirits that were coming through, again, were all protective spirits. She met her spirit guide. He gave us his first and last name and also had us address him as Mr. He was very formal. But sometimes we have to help them understand that it might not be somebody that you have people, you have spirits on the other side, guides, people who have maybe been with you in a past life or just agreed with you before you came into this life that they were going to help you. You might not know them. That doesn't mean not knowing them in this life that you're in right now. that you didn't know them before, you don't know them after. Our energy is our energy. And we certainly should welcome these wonderful spirits who said before we came here that they wanted to help us. We need to remember them again and let them back in.
And Tiffany's been doing this for longer than KJ and I put together. She's been healing people. And the fact that, she brings loved ones that you've lost quickly or suddenly, or you just miss them. I mean, Tiffany brought me my dad after he passed. It's my dad why I even do this in the first place. So, Tiff, you talk about your healing powers, superpowers.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all intuitive to a certain degree. Just some of us are tuned in differently. I mean, as far as me doing paranormal, I mean, I've been doing paranormal, I feel like it's been almost 20 years now. But I've been full time as a spirit medium for the last 8 at this point. And I absolutely love being able to provide healing messages and validations while people go through grief. And, I love the paranormal aspect of it because it's something that excites me and it keeps me interested. And I want to be able to piece that emotional side with the factual side. So, when Kitsie and I became friends and I ended up giving her a reading, we just had a straight up connection. And then we found out that we both loved the paranormal. And I remember she was out in Rhode Island and I had brought her to a location in Rhode Island where we did an investigation. And, we definitely just bonded. And so I love that fact. And then she introduced me to KJ. So KJ and I have never physically met yet, but we will be meeting in a couple weeks. So super excited. But we're all connected. It doesn't even matter that we haven't physically met. Lon, it doesn't matter that I haven't physically met you. It doesn't matter. We're all connected and we are all in this great, amazing community, as I like to call it, because we are all on the same page with our spirituality and learning more and realizing that there's more in front of us than just what the human eye can see. And that brings us to have that togetherness and that bond as far as having the paranormal, being able to talk about the paranormal and not making it so scary as it's always put out there for.
So, Tiffany, let me ask you, how has Reiki helped you?
So Reiki is Japanese. It means energy, life force. The reason why I wanted to become a Reiki master teacher, I wanted to learn more about energy. I wanted to know how energy worked and how effective it was when you pass along energy to others. And so when you receive Reiki, Reiki sometimes will give you a deep sense of relaxation and actually have healing modalities. Actually, I should say it's a healing modality in itself. I've had a lot of my clients come to me for fertility stuff and stress, that type of thing. So I wanted it to be something where I just had under my belt and I had a firm understanding of it. So when I do the paranormal or when I do a personal private reading, I would be able to understand how energy actually works. So when you can see the physical sense of what Reiki can actually do, not just something where I just give somebody a reading and yes, I see their emotion, but when you're giving somebody Reiki, you actually see a physical change. So I wanted to see that, and that's what I wanted to learn more about. And that's why I ended up becoming a Reiki master teacher, so I could have that firm understanding. So when I do get asked that question, like you just asked me, I would be able to answer it pretty solid and say, you know what, Lon, I do know how energy can affect someone physically, not only just emotionally, yet physically. So, when we talk about good vibes only, right? It sounds so funny to say good vibes only, but when you're really living your best life and putting it out there and living in that love base and that sense of abundance, that's the type of energy you're going to be magnetically connected to, and it's going to come back to you in tenfold. Bottom line, just be a good person, right?
Yeah.
Preach, sis.
Right?
Well, when you do a session, do you use crystals?
I love crystals. I don't need to use crystals, but I personally love crystals just because they're pretty. And I do know that a lot of them hold some healing modalities to them. So I like to post about them on Instagram and give some factual meanings behind them. So I can use crystals in a reading, but essentially when people come to me for a personal private reading, it's just me and them. If they want me to pull cards, I can pull cards. for that physical aspect. If they want to talk about crystals, we can talk about crystals. But primarily, people come to me because they are in the deep stages of grief.
Right.
So we
Right.
talk more about the grief stuff. There are some people that will come to me that want an intuitive reading, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's about people that passed, but more so they want some clarity of what's going on in their life. And then in
Right.
that case, we could talk about, okay, you know what, rose quartz is great for self-love, or why don't you try fluorite to focus and amplify your alignment? You know, smoky quartz to help ground yourself, selenite to help clear some of that negative energy, you know, that type of thing. But yes, I mean, I like to kind of put little bits and pieces of what I do into everything, meaning we'll throw some crystals in if I feel like it's necessary, or, you know, we can talk paranormal if I feel like it's necessary. But primarily the people that come to me for that private reading is because they are in the deep stages of grief and they have lost somebody and they are looking for that validation and the affirmations, or not even affirmations, but validation and the messages of letting you know that we're never truly alone.
Yeah, you know, I think we all, to a degree, use some type of divination or tool when we get involved at this. I mean, I'm a crystal nut. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Same.
You know, I have my favorite crystals. I have like yttrium fluorite is my favorite. I don't know if you've ever used yttrium fluorite. I love it. It's the strongest, most useful crystal I've ever used. I've used a lot.
What are the characteristics of that particular fluorite?
I don't, you know, it's not really like a normal, a regular fluorite. It's only found in caves. It's an opaque lavender color, but it's got such an energy to it. It's not easy to find, for one thing, but it's got such a strong energy to it. And I don't know what it is, but when I use it, when I do a case, or remote case or whatever, when I have it around me and when I'm actually feeling it, touching it, it just like I open up. It's the weirdest thing.
It's a wonderful feeling. I have this is my moldavite, and I mean I don't even. It's like a part of who I am. Like I don't even know that I have it on, but there's those moments where it's like I love that this was made. It came from a meteorite, and it reminds us that the universe is so big and we're so connected to it. But that feeling that even when I'm just holding it right now and I'm like, yes, the universe is big and I have a little part of it. This is my little part in it, right? But yeah, I'm with you, Lon. I think that there are times where it's just wonderful to get the crystals out. And I've actually used them in healing with, there's a little theme here as you'll talk to me more, but I do, I'm a Reiki healer as well, but I primarily work with animals. That's kind of where I've been drawn. I get messages from pets. I intuitively know what's going on in their body. And I actually, at one point, Lon, I had a cat who was having seizures, and a friend of mine in the healing community said, use crystals. And I'm like, this cat is not going to put up with crystals. And she literally let me put crystals on her body. Like I started laying them close to her, and eventually she would let me put them on. She would stretch out, and she would let me do a full crystal healing, 20 minutes of just laying there with crystals on her body. It is. And that was when I was like, these things are amazing. If you can get a cat to calm down and be like, this is the healing that I need, then we should all be using crystals more.
You know, that's interesting. My cat, Vinny, who a lot of people who listen to the show know because he ends up here sometimes. He's sitting there. And when I'm working with crystals, if he's there with me, he will just literally get on the ground and just roll on his back. It's like something's hit him. It's a strange thing.
They know that energy, Lon. They're feeling it. They're like, this is amazing. Let's all bask in this beautiful healing that's happening right now.
Well, so now I got to ask each one of you, what are your favorite crystals? I mean, let's start with Tiffany and go around the table here.
I really do love rose quartz, but my go-to lately has been smoky quartz. I'm loving smoky quartz. That's one of my favorites. And then pink amethyst is something that I really like. And then also the golden healer.
Right.
I like that too. So those are probably my top. Oh, and celestite. Celestite's one of my favorites.
Right.
So, yeah.
How about you, Kitsie?
My all-time favorite is obsidian. I always feel like I need protection from something. I think it's just the way I was raised and all the ID channel murder shows I watch. I feel like I constantly need protection. But I love amethyst because it's supposed to open your third eye. It's supposed to help you speak with spirits and read energies, which is something I'm obsessed with and why I'm a hermit and stay in my house, because I don't want to be around people energies very often. But labradorite is one of my favorites as well.
It's also a beautiful stone. So people
stunning.
don't know crystals. It's a beautiful stone. And of course, how about you, JK? You think moldavite's your favorite?
I do love moldavite, just to have it on me to sort of remind me of that connection. But I'm a big fan of rose quartz. I usually have some rose quartz on me. I also really like tiger's eye. I have
So
a
pretty.
tiger. It's so pretty, and I think because I connect a lot, I'm a creator, right? Like creativity is just like, I'm constantly like, what story can I tell? What else can I be creating? And so tiger's eye is such a great connection to the sacral chakra. I have a pendulum that has tiger's eye. It's I like to say it's just pretty, and it also, I think it just kind of opens that connection up to really create the life I want to have and create the world I want to have around me.
So let me ask you all this. Now you're going to be getting into the investigations. You're going to be doing this on TV. You're going to be recording it, or however you're going to do it. How do you start an investigation, and what process do you go into it? Now, I know all investigations are different, but just say you've got someone who has haunting issues. They've got restless spirits. They've got either an energy that's trapped on this earth plane that's seeking a way to either get away or grab attention. How do you start with an investigation?
Our approach is a little different. We sit down and we listen. We listen to them and try to address any concerns of theirs that may not even be paranormal. Maybe it's, this is happening. I'm like, oh, you know what that is? That's just sleep paralysis. Or, sometimes poltergeist activity is just your own energy causing things to fly across the room. But we truly, honestly listen to them. And then something I've started doing recently, and again, something Tiffany taught me because she is my guru. I do tarot card, oracle card readings with them. And just kind of, it helps me get a sense of who they are and maybe what's going on in the house before we bring out the equipment. And then, we go in and we bring out all the stuff. We've spoken to, like KJ had said, we've had cats come over playing with equipment, answering yes and no questions for us through this music box where they would, set it off and answer our questions. And in the teaser where you saw KJ in, I think it was like a pink hue in there, that was Edie was the cat that was actually talking to the homeowner. And that's when he actually broke down and cried because he missed her so very much. And then once we get all that laid out, we do our reading with Tiffany. And then before we leave, if they feel better with us smudging their house, we will. Or KJ will show them how to use dowsing rods themselves to get the answers they need. And sometimes she'll take out a pendulum and go, oh no, this chakra's off, girl. You need to get that fixed.
Yeah, it's a very holistic approach. We don't feel right leaving them until we can kind of see that there has been some relief, some resolve. And putting those dowsing rods in their hands and letting them feel that connection of like, you know what, you can get these for $12 on Amazon and you can do this too. Like, you know, that we want to make sure that they understand that when we leave, that there are still ways that they can tap into their own intuition, communicate with these spirits, and really kind of set them up for success for a more peaceful life moving forward.
Well, you know, I've known dowsers, and I still know dowsers, and it's something that fascinates the hell out of me. I don't understand the whole concept. Well, in a way, I do, but it's a talent I don't know if I could ever possess, but it does fascinate me.
You don't have to have any talent. You just hold those things and let the spirits do the work.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You just got to kind of trust that Lon. I mean, I did honestly.
Yeah.
I never touched a dowsing rod until Kitsie put them in my hands, and it just started happening, and now it's a regular thing. I've even a couple of times we left investigations, and I felt like there were some things that maybe we didn't quite get right, or I had my spirit guide one day that was just like screaming at me like, you're not done yet, you didn't do this, and I'm like, fine, let me get the dowsing rods out, and kind of got some more answers to follow up with the homeowner and help them out a little bit. So you just got to get out of your own head there, Lon, and let the dowsing rods work.
Yeah, I've got them in the box upstairs. I might pull them out one day.
You should. And if nothing else, your spirit guides will communicate with you with those as well.
Yeah.
You know, you did mention one thing, which I think is absolutely important, is when you get into a case and you're talking to the clients, you got to really listen to them. You know, when they bring you into their situation, you're part of them. Then you're part of that investigation, and but listening and finding subtle hints as to what may be going on. You know, there's a lot of times when I've gotten to a case where the first thing you realize there's some type of dysfunction or some type of underlying reason why things are going on. I mean, why there's disturbances and such. You know, just like, you know, a poltergeist case. You get a case, a poltergeist case, typical poltergeist case, which basically is a thought form acting up, being manifested by someone who's in the house for the most part. Yeah. You know, stuff will go missing. It'll all end up in the attic somewhere or go someplace else. But yeah, sitting there and actually listening to them is, I think that's probably one of the most important parts of an investigation.
Yeah, and we don't sit down and go, tell me everything scary.
Yeah,
we're like, we're here for you. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how you feel about what's going on, what you were feeling when these things were going on, what you were feeling before these things were going on. We honestly really want to get to the bottom of this for them and help heal them.
Got a question. Somebody, I forgot the name. Oh, okay, Android Purity wants to know a good stone for therapy or inflammation. I know I would say malachite for me, but what do you ladies think?
Tiff's the expert.
Sorry. Oh no, that's okay. Just because of the cats that I've worked with, because there's not a good way to treat inflammation in cats. Clear quartz is really wonderful for inflammation. I think there are a bunch of them, but that's the one that I have found has always been really helpful.
Any other suggestions?
The only thing with clear quartz is clear quartz amplifies whatever is already there. So we always want to be mindful of the energy that's there. And that could include emotional, as far as like happy, sad, anger, any of that type of stuff. So if you are using clear quartz for inflammation, make sure that you are thinking in a very positive way and not a negative, hurtful way, like feeling sad, feeling anger, feeling pain, because clear quartz is an amplifier. So just be cautious.
It's really important to always set your intentions with what you want. These don't just have a crystal like you.
Yeah, that's important.
Right.
Absolutely.
You got to set the intention for what you want it to do.
But
you
also,
know, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead,
I was just
please.
gonna say, blue calcite is a calming stone. Anything that's like blue. So blue calcite is really good for like help calming. When you calm the mind, a lot of times that interacts with inflammation because you're sending messages through your brain to the inflamed part of just the calm relaxation. So any type of, I mentioned celestite, which is good for angels, but it also blue calcite is one of my favorites. I actually have it in my bathroom. And then celestite as well. So that's always something that is good for calming as well.
I don't know how you guys think about this, but I like to have big, bulky crystals.
The bigger the better. Size matters, Lon.
Oh, yeah. Like blue calcite. I mean, I got to have one that's about that big.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's nice to look at in the closet in the cabinet sitting here, but man, I don't know. I just love to have the big ones around me. I mean that makes me crazy.
Sorry.
Me too, Lon. Me too.
No, that's what she said.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just the way I work. But the energy. It's funny. When I lived in my previous house, I had one room where I did most of my work at, and I had a big crystal cabinet where I kept all my large stones, my small stones. But I tell you, I'd be sitting here across the room, and I could literally feel these things saying, "Grab me, bring me out there with you." It's weird. But yeah, oh God, I mean, I know I'm sounding like talking about like this, but
hey, they do vibrate. They do vibrate.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially you're intuitive, you can pick up on it.
I've had clients who ask me about protection, and I always recommend like black tourmaline or something like that. But I've had people who have gone out and bought a stone, and they ask, well, how do you pick up a stone? I said, well, you go to the store and just don't pick one off the internet. Grab one that feels good in your hand. The vibration will tell you, hey, take me home.
Yep.
Some people don't understand that, but they do vibrate. You're right.
Yep.
So when you start a case, what do you guys use for protection, personal protection? I mean, do you use a white light or do you use some type of other technique?
I mean, pretty much. Even when I'm there and before we start investigating, I let the spirits know, first of all, that we're not here to hurt them or harm them, or, my little spiel that I told you the last time I was on. I'm not here to take them away or anything like that. And then I am there out of love, light, peace, and positivity. And I do call in my angels and my guides to protect me and help guide me and help the spirits know that we mean no harm.
Yeah, I do. I always do check my chakras, make sure everything is open so that I'm ready to receive the messages that we need to. And then I have a little pep talk with my spirit team about what we're about to go do, and that I need them with me, not only for protection but for the highest good of the people who are involved, to help them be protected and have their peace. So it's really kind of a little bit of everything. It's making sure my energy is where it needs to be, and calling on my guides and my crew to be there with us. And then I will go in sometime. I'll go in with my pendulum and just kind of check the energy in the rooms. And if I feel like something's off, I'll do some clearing just to make sure that we're, that, like said, that we're in a space where we can receive and help these people receive the messages that they need.
What do you do, Tiff? I've never asked you.
Yeah.
I just set my intentions for my highest and greatest good. And I ask my dad to help me out, my dad in spirit. I ask him to help me out. And so that's my way of protecting myself. And I will call on Archangel Michael. But yeah, I have a pretty good system set up. So support crew, spirit support.
I like it. Yes.
That's fascinating. I basically do the same thing. Intention is a lot of it. We all use intention for a lot of different things. We also use the we use about everything. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm not beyond doing an affirmation here and there if somebody's around and asks me something, and you know, it does help.
Oh yeah, more people need to put more positive intentions out into the world. I think we'd be in a much better place as humanity if they did.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Do you guys use any type of aftercare with a client? Do you follow up eventually with them, you know, to try to find out what's going on and maybe help them through that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When we leave, we're like, you need anything, let us know. And that's like what we're going to do at Indie PopCon. It's going to be a check-in. Granted, we're going to do it in front of a live studio audience, but we just kind of want to check in and make sure that there aren't any questions that they have. And so we can kind of, even if they don't reach out, we can still figure out what's going on with them, if they're still in that place of peace or not, or if maybe we need to go back and find out a little bit more.
Well, you know, I look forward to seeing what you ladies do and how you conduct cases and such and how you deal with clients. It'll be interesting. You know, I always like to I always like to talk to mediums. I always like to talk to spirit rescuers and, you know, people who are intuitive, because you always learn something, to be honest with you. I mean, that's the way I feel, but you always do learn something. So kind of before we go, kind of give everybody an idea how they can contact you, where they can go to find you, and anything else you want to put out there.
Well, everything's at the website that just popped up there. It's pxroad.com or go-to.pxroad.com. We do have, how many episodes do we have out now, KJ? 5, almost 6?
5. Next week will be 6, right?
6. Okay. Yeah. And the links there, our Kickstarter Heart is up there as well. We do have those seasons up on YouTube, and then we're going to be broadcasting live in the state of Indiana as of next month. And we're just going to keep going places from there. So if anybody watching, anybody listening has a local TV network that's looking for a feel-good, not like the rest paranormal show, hit us up.
Well, ladies, I hope you keep in contact with me, because I'm very interested in what you do, and you know, I hope the best for the show, and I hope the best for you and life in general. Thanks again for being on with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you take care. So, you know, if you have an unexplained encounter and sighting, feel free to contact me through the Fans of Monsters blog site. I want to again thank Kitsie Duncan, KJ McGlinn, and Tiffany Rice for joining me this evening. And thanks to each and all of you for watching and chatting. If you made a super chat donation, it's truly appreciated. Your support is what makes all this possible. So please like, subscribe, and share. Now, next week, I have Timothy Renner and Joshua Cutchin on. These two guys have been cryptid hunters, fairy hunters, elf hunters, anything you can think of. They've been involved in a lot of different things. They've written a couple of books together. Tim is in my Families of Monsters 14 research team, and he lives right down the road from me. So he does a lot of local investigations. So it'll be a very interesting show indeed. So until next week, stay healthy and have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Good night.